Ja, gut, hat er die. Was ist die? Völlig. Völlig.
So Thomas, you told me like 9 months ago you want to start your own YouTube channel about motivation.
Yeah, I thought about putting out a YouTube channel about motivation because I'm really fascinated by it. I watch a lot of these nice sounding videos from very intelligent people that motivate other people. But again, I feel if you don't stick to it for a year, you better not start. So I'm very, very careful with what I start and what I don't.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, so I'm a very big believer of having the right mindset, and you can do mostly whatever you want, but this mindset needs to be like trained. It's like a muscle, right? It's like propaganda, I would say. So for example, when I started my business, I would say it took 5 years more, from 2007 to 2012. It took a long time to have a real impact. But I brainwashed myself with podcasts every day. So,
nice.
So many people do that in the beginning when they want to be self-employed or entrepreneurs, because it really helps. It really sets your mind to something that people that are in a 9 to 5 they don't understand, because they don't have the same logic and the same thoughts. And once you brainwash yourself, I feel it's not you cannot go back, right? You cannot it's hard to understand why people actually appreciate their 9 to 5 job, even if you try to understand it, and maybe it's easy or maybe it's worth it for them. It's hard to understand why working for someone else makes sense. I mean, maybe if you're a doctor, you cannot just have your surgeries on your own. You have to have a hospital and stuff, and there is jobs that make sense in a group, but for me it felt always weird, working for someone else that actually taking a cut. So why would they take a cut of my work, right? So
Exactly.
Would make more sense if I didn't give any cut to anybody, right?
I mean, I totally understand everyone who says he's happy or she's happy in her 9 to 5 job, because it's fine. I have my family, I have 3 kids, and I have normal working hours and so on. Just for myself, and I think for you, Thomas, too, it doesn't work, right? Because we want to have this freedom to create stuff, to be able to walk through the forest now during the middle of the day and record this video. If I were stuck in a hamster wheel somewhere in a corporation, I couldn't do that, because I would always have a boss to answer to make some more PowerPoint slides, do some calculations, call the supplier, call the customer, do this ABC thing, whatever. And I just really like this freedom. So actually my whole journey started around 1.5 years ago, when I left my last employer, and since then I'm free. I feel like Agent Smith in the Matrix after the first part, when actually he was being free from the Matrix. And
yeah, that's what I appreciate as well the most, the flexibility to do whatever you want whenever you want. And that's the one big reason. And the second reason, I feel, is the upside of working for yourself. So you have a huge upside when you actually are motivated enough to build something substantial, because you get all the rewards for what you do. And this upside is never compensated in a usual salary, right?
Exactly.
If you're a lazy person, you want to have almost nothing to do, it's not for you, right? But if you want to actually get somewhere, the upside is so much bigger when you're on your own, because once it works, it's for you, right?
Exactly. Entrepreneurship is the answer.
Yeah, and obviously the freedom, the flexibility to sleep in, to do something with the kids is a lot of motivation too.
Absolutely. So from all the motivational stuff that you've read, listened to over the past years, do you have any quotes that you would like to give to my viewers today?
Quote
that helps them in their life?
I'm not sure if I have a quote on top of my mind. I'm reading Think Like a Monk by Jay Shetty right now.
Yeah.
And I really like that book. So Jay Shetty is very popular marketing. If you watch his YouTube videos, they are a little bit like, I don't know how to say it, like US typical. Like he has been living as a monk and he's marketing this now, but he really is very thoughtful, and that helps me a lot. Otherwise, for quotes, I maybe need to look something up, or yeah.
You can think of something later, and I put it into the video.
I just think it's very important, which is not a quote, but it's very important to take ownership of where you are and what you do, and not to blame your success on anything else. You just have to blame yourself, work hard, and enjoy the ride, basically, and then sometimes you will get rewarded, and it's not really like you don't get rewarded instantly. You just get rewarded someday, but you will get rewarded for sure.
Absolutely. If you stick to it, right? If you don't give up early enough. So another topic, Thomas. I heard you have a very interesting hobby. You want to share that with my crowd?
You saw my drones, my FPV gear back home. So yeah, that's just one of my hobbies I celebrate, because there is this cinematic drones that everyone knows. Like it's basically a flying photo camera, right?
Yeah.
And it's a bit boring. And then there is drones that you watch, that you fly through goggles, and you actually have to have skills to fly them. So you train in a simulator first.
Oh, really?
Because you cannot fly them elsewise. So you have like 10-20 hours in the simulator before you fly them. And that's a lot of fun, because the world is so beautiful, and you're often outside, and when you're actually watching through the eyes of the camera of the drone, everything gets three-dimensional. So you go to other places, you go above the forest, above the clouds, you dive like I don't know, like
a bird,
hills,
like
and
an eagle.
Yeah, it's just a lot of fun. And we were talking about the drones. It's also very social, so we meet with friends and have some fun. We even fly indoor in a church once a week with small drones with the ducts. So
really?
That's the plastic things around that you can bump into walls. So they are very light and very. So it's more of also of a social thing. So when you work for yourself at home, you just don't meet people every day, right? So I need to get out and meet people and have some fun, and we listen to music, and then we do racing or freestyle or flight indoors and whatnot, and that's a lot of fun, because you really are like submerged in this experience of flying, and there is long range drones. You can even fly up to the Matterhorn all the way down, and it's so impressive when you actually. It's like you're a bird, and you're like you can dance with trees and the wind and whatever, and that's a lot of fun. So.
And when did you start your drone hobby?
Probably 16 to 17, around that time.
Yeah.
Because you have to build, or you had to build the drones yourself, and the equipment wasn't too good at the time. So you have to solder everything together, you have to screw everything together, you have to program it, and it was a little bit more effort. And I think on my first quadcopter I had about 3 months until it flew.
All right.
So it took
Nice.
some time. But I met so many nice people, and the fun thing is the people are just like interested in this hobby, and they are not from a certain like group of people, right? Mm-hmm. There are young people like 15 years old, and sometimes someone like 60 years old joins, or we have like more nerdy people, less nerdy people. We have not so many women, right? It's a male dominant sport or hobby, I would say. But yeah, it's basically it's basically just a very nice hobby that helps me like relax and see the world from another like
Nice.
eye.
But you're also doing races, right? With the drones.
Yeah, sometimes I do races,
With
but
the goggles on.
yeah, right.
Yeah.
So you always fly with the goggles, because when you fly line of sight, so without goggles, it's very hard to maneuver, because when it turns, we have to wait a second.
So now it's silent again. The engines are off. And
Now I
tracking
have to walk in your back.
tracking my face. Yeah, the camera has this face track feature, and I want to deactivate that feature if I can. But somehow I cannot. So I have to flip the camera around. I have to learn how to use this camera. Okay, so you were talking about the races.
Yeah,
with the goggles.
So there is like more ambitious races and less ambitious races, but I usually just take place in races with friends, like not very like professional, because you have to be it's like a mixture of video game and real life, right? And you have to be very quick on your sticks, and you have to. It's quite stressful. So if you're a day in a race. I don't feel relaxed, I feel stressed, right? Because you have to push to your limits of concentration and focus so much that you'd rather just have good music, a beer, and some friends, and just flying as much as you want and doing tricks or whatever you want, and that's much more my style, I would say.
So I always wonder what happens when you have like this crazy FPV drone with the goggles and so on. And then you crash against the wall. Is the drone like total damage and gone?
Nowadays it's better. In the early days there were a lot of broken parts when the carbon wasn't as strong and when your flight wasn't as good. I maybe spent $50 to $100 a day flying, right? Because you have to buy new spare parts, but that's not that big of a deal anymore. I mean, if you race really competitively, you break a lot of things still, but the drones are much like more compact, more robust, more just better built, and sometimes you burn a motor or like have some flames in your battery or whatnot, because it takes a lot of power, obviously. So it's not too expensive anymore, and I don't buy a lot of new equipment because I have tons, so it's not that big of a deal.
How much is a drone average? What about?
Oh, maybe about $300 to $500, I would say.
Dollars.
Dollar for a drone, and then you have to have your goggles, which is a $500 one-time purchase.
Okay.
And maybe $200 or $300 for your radio, like.
The gear, the control thing?
Yeah, the controller is called radio.
Radio, okay.
It's not too expensive anymore.
All right, now I think we talked for 45 minutes, right? Quite a long interview. So Thomas, do you have anything to share with the world that you always want to share?
Oh, that's a good question. Not really. I just think people that want to like get self-employed, get like their own way, their own story. Just be positive. I mean, there's so many ways, and you will find your way. Just you don't need to be there yet. It's just you're on your way, and that's good enough, right? You just be happy during the process, because it's not better once you have more cash, or once you can stay at home forever, or once I don't know, it's just different, and you're on your way, and that's good. That should be enough for you to be happy, and you have to have self-confidence and some trust to feel good about this process and not about the result. That's maybe one thing I think is very important.
Wonderful closing words. Amazing. So if somebody wants to reach out to you, Thomas, or want to know more about your business or what you do, how can they find you?
Most likely they can write at thomas@privatelabeljourney.de. That's basically the best address I have. You can reach me anytime. We can call. I'm always open for for a discussion. I'm happy to talk to people and grow my mindset or grow my like experience and whatever, and help others out. That's you're always welcome.
Amazing. Well, Thomas, thank you so much for being on the show today. It was a real pleasure.
Thank you, Kristiaan.
And let's go fly some drone soon.
Nice.
Bye, guys.
Bye.
See you tomorrow for whatever day. I don't know, 50 something.